Welcome to our presentation on excellence in risk management and harm reduction. My name is Dmitry Volchonsky. I am the chapter president for 2025 for Beta Theta Pi, and I was the vice president of programming and social chair for 2024.
And my name is Jake Matula. I'm going to be the incoming vice president of education, and I was last year's chapter president.
So the purpose of this presentation is to kind of talk about how Beta Theta Pi fully recognizes the risks and harm associated with either high-risk events or the behaviors in fraternity life. We are committed to addressing these challenges by fostering a culture of safety, accountability, and respect. Our role goes beyond awareness. We actively create safe environments to promote healthy relationships and lead by example as change makers within our community.
So for our presentation today, we'll be going over the statement of accountability and safety, and we'll be reviewing various risk management policies that we utilize in our chapter, including guest list enforcement, event preparation, and medical supplies that we use for events, accountability, health and safety education, mental health support, and various other things as well as overview materials that we utilize for our risk management policy. Our chapter is committed to upholding the highest safety standards at all events sponsored by a fraternity. As our core values of responsible conduct, mutual assistance, integrity, and trust, we pledge to ensure the safety and happiness of all of our members, guests, families, and friends of Beta, and other community members as well. This risk management plan reflects our proactive approach to protecting our members and guests. Our policies go beyond minimum expectations to ensure that we create a safe, secure, and respectful environment. Our policies are implemented through active and meaningful education in areas such as interpersonal violence prevention, substance abuse awareness, notice and respond training, active listening, critical reflection, and a deep understanding of our organization's history and values.
So our risk management policy has been created and outlines the policies, requirements, and goals of the chapter in regards of risk management and harm reduction. It goes over a variety of different scenarios that we'll go into further in this presentation. The risk management policy is also set to be updated yearly as FSL community and fraternity life changes throughout the years. The roles and responsibilities of members are outlined in the risk management document. Risk manager, health and safety chair, which is usually either the risk manager or programming chair, are recommended and hopefully will be required to have a medical certification. Example would be a professional rescuer certification or lifeguard certification. And then the roles of our sober monitors in collaboration with other officers during events is to monitor guests and alcohol, enforce the guest list, emergency response, de-escalation of events, documentation, then communication with authorities. Then there's a flow chart kind of looking at the different levels of authority in those type of events.
So we require our sober monitors to go through an in-depth presentation in order to help them prepare for any of our BYOB events. It's an in-depth training process that includes de-escalation techniques in case there's potentially any sort of confrontation among guests or guests and members. Overview of all risk policies required by FSL, as well as our own fraternity chapter policy, as well as any third-party policies if required. Recognizing the signs of common injuries as illnesses, particularly like opioid overdose or any sort of alcohol poisoning, and knowing how to treat those as well. Identifying suspicious persons and knowing how to deal with them and remove them safely from the premises. Utilizing appropriate event planning techniques, knowing how to properly set up a party to make sure it is safe, and ensuring where we put all of our sober monitors. And we make sure that they go through all of that, and then they take a test at the end. They're required to pass it by 80%. Otherwise, they have to take it again and again until they pass. So event preparation for any event is incredibly important to safety and security. Our risk management team identifies entrances and exits for venues. We designate a safe area for evacuation if needed, which is usually we try and keep it close by in order we can actually make sure we get everybody there safely and on time. Entrances and exits are clearly marked. Sober monitors are stationed at key locations. They're trained at the location. When we have those quizzes, we bring them to the place where we'll be having the BYOB event in order to help them get a lay of the land. Have an emergency contact us as well. And they have to be easily identifiable and easily accessible by any members of the fraternity and any guests that come. And flyers are posted throughout the venue as well that inform guests of safety procedures and how to identify sober monitors.
In addition to that, we also have a medical badge that will be required at all high-risk events. It includes basic first aid items. It also includes Narcan, fentanyl testing strip, liquid IVs, and then spike dressing kits. Those spike drink spiked drink testing kits are also located at a bar when we do have those BYOB events. There's also advanced first aid items like a CPR mask, a bloodborne pathogen kit, hydrogen peroxide, elastic bandages. Sober monitors are not specifically trained to use the medical bag, but they're able to find someone and able to locate that medical bag and assist in emergencies. Again, only certified members can really have the give consent to, or not give consent to treatment, but give treatment, except if there's like a minor scrape or something like that. Like mentioned, we have those are the items that we use. So we have Narcan, the fentanyl testing strips, and then the drink spike test strips as well. In addition to that, we also have the consent to treatment, which is required. So you must require consent to treatment if an individual is conscious. Then there's a Good Samaritan law in Colorado that we mentioned to all of our members. So it protects people who request emergency assistance in emergency situations. So we will make sure everyone is getting the help that they need, regardless of what happened at the event. There's also a need to verify the stock of medical supplies before and after the event. So if anything was used, taking note of that is really important. Then the location is to be in a secure and convenient location. And then, as mentioned previously, we have those safety flyers that are posted throughout the event location to help inform members and guests. So it really informs any kind of guest that we have that you can find any of these members and you can get the help that you need, whether it's medical assistance or if someone's feeling uncomfortable. We want to make sure everyone feels comfortable at our events and has the proper information they need to get help.
So, due to recent events that happened at our campus concerning Beta events, we have really come to recognize the importance of incident reporting and properly filling out forms in order to make sure that we get all the necessary information down in order to see how we will continue from then on. We have two forms that have been created, a Google form used to submit information and a PDF form to fill it out. We only need to fill one out or the other is mainly preference choice. We also have national chapter provided incident report form that we also utilize. Any incidents will be reviewed by risk management team and sent to proper authorities with signatures. These include headquarters for our national chapter, EMS, police, and university officials as well. So our guest lists are all strictly enforced. They all enter, all of our guests enter through our designated entrance and exit. Only people on the guest list are allowed in. We aren't just letting anybody walk in, even if we think that they're good people. If they're not on the list, we're not letting them in. We ensure that all of our guests have full names as well as a timestamp of an entrance and exit. As mentioned before, when letting that person in, it is automatically, we set up a Google form where it automatically enters in the timestamp when we verify that person has entered. And yeah, during an emergency evacuation, we ensure that everybody leaves through the designated exits. If possible, they're all trying to count it at a nearby rendezvous point.
In addition to that, we also have a emergency and crisis response protocol. So it outlines emergency protocols such as natural disasters, missing persons, and active shooters. This is just to be really comprehensive about any type of situations we might encounter, being able to have that crisis management plan and being able to look at all the different types of events we might encounter here in Colorado or wherever we go is really important. It also outlines how to report crises to our headquarters and media responses as well to anything that might have happened. Um, this does not include also includes not only emergency situations, but any situation that might put our chapter in a bad image. And then after any incident or any event, there'll be a debrief with all of the sober monitor teams and the risk management team to kind of go over what happened, what could be improved, any issues or concerns, any things that went well, anything like that will be looked over in that debrief. It's also used as a way for us to look reflectively back on any type of event that we had and ways we can improve, which is really important. Make sure that everyone is on the same page and if anything was missed.
Accountability is one of our most important aspects in regards to harm reduction, risk management, as well as general team management. And we have created a set of accountability standards of all forms. In my first officer position, I was VP of Brotherhood, and I headed our CAI committee, which is basically a subcommittee run by the VP of Brotherhood that is chosen from a representative group of brothers in the chapter. And it serves as the internal judicial body. Any member can be sent there at request of another member. But this can be over a variety of different things. It could be over failure to uphold expectations or serious infractions. And the Chi Committee decides a person's status in the fraternity. And there can be a variety of different results that come from Chi Committee hearings. One of them is probation, which is basically just like a warning status that you're on, that if you don't get your act together soon, you will be removed. Recusal, it is a new status that was created this year at our national convention, which is basically that if any brother is under a criminal investigation, he will be temporarily removed from fraternity for as long as the investigation is going on. And lastly, expulsion, which isn't like enforced directly by Chi Committee. Expulsion is mandated by a trial by chapter, where the Chi Committee then sets up the trial by chapter with the recommendation for expulsion. This is for serious infractions. We also, not only do we deal with punishment, we also deal with rewarding good that is done in our chapter. We've done Brothers of the Month in the past, which at our Chi Committee meetings, we nominate a brother that we feel like has gone above and beyond in the month, whether that be doing something good for the chapter or doing good in school, doing good in the community, anything like that. We just recommend we choose Brother of the Month, and then we recognize them at our next monthly, not next monthly, next chapter meeting of the new month, and recognize them there. We also are going to be implementing a new thing called Son of the Stars Rewards. It's going to be a sort of point reward system to help get our members involved on campus. Stars are awarded to members for attending various education sessions and being involved in our community and more on campus. They're then counted up at the end of each semester, and that brother will be given a gift, likely a piece of Beta merch from Nationals.
In addition to that, hazing prevention is one of the most important aspects in reducing harms to our members. We strive to have a comprehensive education on hazing during our new member process and active member process. So that includes identifying hazing behaviors, acknowledging the events that occurred within our general fraternity at Penn State, being and reflect on our chapter and identifying ways that we can improve. We aim to be leaders in hazing prevention by reflecting on the past and then actively educating members about the risks of hazing. We don't want to put down and ignore our past. We want to be able to acknowledge that and move into a better space and help reduce harm in our community. In addition, we also have different types of education that we've implemented. So consent and interpersonal violence prevention training, which is mandatory every semester. So every fall and spring semester, that's going to be presented by the Safe Center. Then we also have Narcan training for all members annually, hosted in the fall semester. This is just a great way for our members to be aware of how to use Narcan in any different situations, because we understand that they also have their own social groups and they're really interconnected with a lot of different people in our community, and being able to have that training can help save a lot of people's lives sometimes. There's also that sober monitor training and certification, which includes that mandatory quiz. Every sober monitor is required to complete a training presentation and then pass a quiz. It offers scenarios, what to do, medical advice, and an 80% or higher is required to pass to become a certified sober monitor. Then there's also continued education with notice and respond training, which is presented by CSU Health Network. It's also been presented by IFC, and we usually do that every fall semester. But we also have career and professional development. We have resume building workshops. That we have an alumni LinkedIn network, which allows our members to connect with over 300 alumni of the Epsilon Kappa chapter.
Or here is just a quick list of some of our education materials that we use for our risk management. Some include our sober monitor like training and the quiz there, like our policies for risk management, incident reports, both types of forms that we use, sober monitor checklist and data event guide, as well as our safety flyer, copies of those. So yeah, in conclusion, our commitment to risk management excellence is something that we take very seriously at Beta Theta Pi. Safety is the foundation of every event that we host. If events aren't safe, events aren't good, period. We're committed to exceeding expectations and risk management with everything that we do concerning risk management. And by following our plan, we protect our guests, members, reputation of our chapter, and our school and community as a whole.